There was a moneylender. He had three sons. Two of the sons were married. The younger son was not married. The moneylender died before his marriage. After the death of their father, both the elder brothers set out for business. The boat was decorated. After fixing the auspicious time and about to leave, they asked everyone what they should bring for them. The elder daughter-in-law said, "Bring me a heavy silk sari of the color of black clouds." The second daughter-in-law said, "Bring me a blue-colored sari." When the younger brother was asked, he said, "Bring me a kuhukamandal bird." Both the brothers boarded the boat and started their journey. While traveling, they reached a kingdom. They went to meet the king there and gifted him diamonds, pearls, and rubies. They did business there for a year and 6 months, buying and selling. On their way back, they met the king and sought his permission. They purchased a black cloud colored and blue sari from the same kingdom and began making arrangements to return to their homeland. The boat was ready when they remembered that their younger brother had asked them to bring a kuhukamandal bird. They thought their brother would be sad if they did not bring it. Thinking this, they returned to the king. Seeing them, the king asked, "You too already took my permissions, so why did you return?" The brother replied, "Your Majesty, our younger brother had asked us to bring the kuhukamandal bird. We searched everywhere in the market, but we could not find it anywhere." Everyone heard this and said that if we go back to our country and tell them that we could not find the kuhukamandal bird, it would be a great disgrace to our king. That's why we came back to you to tell you this. The king too was stubborn. He said, "Okay, wait here for a day or two. We will get you the bird." Then the king summoned all the hunters in the kingdom and said, "If you don't catch the kuhukamandal bird within 2 days, your entire clan will be wiped out." Hearing this, all the hunters' blood froze. They took sticks, coated them with glue, and searched exhaustively for the bird wherever they hoped to find it. But the kuhukamandal bird was nowhere to be found. An old hunter, after searching the entire forest, mountains, and caves, sat exhausted under a kadamba tree in the hot afternoon and started thinking that tomorrow the entire hunter clan would become extinct. There was a vulture's nest in the same tree. At that time, the female vulture had gone to get food for her children. She returned with food and gave it to the children. But the children were not satisfied with it. So they started crying. They said, "Mother, our stomachs are not full at all. Give us something else to eat. Look how our stomachs have become shrunken. The female vulture said, "Hey children, wait for one more day today. Suppose you are hunger, you will get a full meal tomorrow morning. And even if you eat for 3 days, 3 fortnights, or 3 months, the food will not be finished." Hearing their mother's words, the children said, "Mother, you are fooling us by telling lies." The mother said, "No, no, it is not a lie. The king has ordered that if the kuhukamandal bird is not found and brought back tomorrow morning, the entire clan of hunters will be killed." "Where will the hunters get that bird? When everyone is dead, then you can eat as much meat as you want." The children asked, "Then where is that bird, mother?" The mother said, "It's in the hollow of the tree where we have built our nest. How do those hunters know they will catch it?" The old man heard this and quickly got up and started shouting, calling out to everyone. Hearing his voice, all the hunters came to him. Then he said to them, "Get into the hollow of this tree. The kuhukamandal bird has made its nest right here. Let's catch it and bring it to the king." Indeed, when they reached the cave and searched it, they found the bird right there. It was amazing. In a moment, it seemed to shrink as small as a man and then as large as a vulture. The hunters caught it, put it in their bag, and carried it to the king. Upon reaching the king, they presented him with the bird and bowed down to him. The king looked at the bird, then he gave each of the hunters turbans to wear on their heads. He presented the bird to the two merchant brothers. The brothers happily boarded the boat. When the boat docked, the two daughters-in-law performed arti for their brothers. The brothers returned home with money and gold. They gave each daughter-in-law their saris and their brother a kuhukamandal bird. The bird began to live with the younger brother. One day, the bird said to her master, "Your Majesty, both your brothers have married and settled down, but why are you not getting married?" The younger one said, "I have not found a suitable girl. My father passed away in the meantime. Now I will marry only if I find a suitable girl." Hearing this, the bird said, "Well, that's the case. Fine, I will go and find a girl for you." The moneylender's son said, "All right, then you go." The bird searched the entire country in flight. If she saw a divinely beautiful girl, she would go and tell her master. When she grew tired of searching, she flew across 7 seas and reached an island on the other side of Lanka. There was a king on that island, and he had only one daughter. He had not yet applied turmeric or oil to her, having found a suitable groom for her. Her beauty overshadowed the most beautiful woman in all three worlds. It was as if she were an angel. Her complexion was as pale as a champa flower, so soft that a touch would draw blood. The bird, upon seeing her, thought that the bride was as good as the groom. It was as if God had made them for each other. The princess was coming her hair on the roof of the palace when the bird took the form of a silken parrot and chanting the name of Lord Rama sat at a distance from the princess. When the princess saw it, she showed it a shocked cucumber and called it closer, saying, "Oh, what a beautiful parrot!" The bird said, "You are so captivated by me. Who knows what will happen if you see my master? If you promise not to lock me in a cage, I will come to you." When the princess said, "Truth, truth, truth," 3 times, the parrot flew and sat on her hand. Then the princess asked him, "Who is your master?" The parrot said, "Fate has prepared such a husband for a girl like you." The princess's heart began to swell. She said, "How can I somehow see your master once?" The parrot said, "Okay, I am going. I will bring my master. He is across 7 seas on the other side of Lanka. But there's one thing. How will I bring him into this palace? First tell me a place where I can bring him, and then you can go and meet him." The princess asked him to meet her at the pond. Then the kuhukamandal bird flew away and flew across 7 seas to the moneylender's son, where he told him everything. After hearing everything, the moneylender's son said, "That island is so far from here. How will I go that far?" The bird said, "That's all. You sit on my back. If I want, I can fly you to that island in a day and a night. Then there would not be any problem, will there?" The moneylender's son was initially perplexed, but when the bird revealed its enormous form, he agreed. He did not say a word to anyone, but instead sat on the bird's back and flew away. The bird flew across 7 seas to the island. After placing the moneylender's son on the bank of the pond, the bird transformed itself into a parrot and went to the princess to inform her of the moneylender's son's arrival. Upon hearing the news, the princess rushed to see him. Upon reaching there and seeing the moneylender's son, she was captivated by him. She returned and lay down in a room. She spoke to no one. The queen asked her maids to come and find out the reason. The maids returned from the princess and told her, "A foreigner is sitting on the bank of the pond. If you don't marry the princess to him, she will give up her life." This news reached the king. What could the king do? How could he refuse the request of his only daughter? So he said, "Okay, let's go and see that foreigner." The king was captivated by the moneylender's son beauty at the pond's edge. He then began making preparations for the wedding. They were married. Then the bird kuhukamandal said, "Sit on my back. I will take you across the 7 seas to your home." When the moneylender's son began preparing to leave, the king urged them to stay a few more days. The king built a palace for them. The husband, wife, and the bird lived there happily for a few days. Several months passed in this manner. The princess gave birth to a beautiful child. Meanwhile, the bird kuhukamandal repeatedly talked to the moneylender's son about returning to his homeland. Time passed, and the child was now 3 or 4 years old. The princess became pregnant again. Then the bird said, "You are gradually increasing my burden. Why do you want to stay here? Let's go back to our country." When the son in law went to his father in law to ask for permission, the king offered him a large dowry. Then the bird said, How will you carry so much wealth? Only the four of us will go. Then the princess, the son, and the moneylender's son sat on the bird's back. The bird flew away, carrying everyone on its back. They were halfway across, clouds above, and the sea below. Huge waves were surging in the sea. The princess was pregnant, and her health began to deteriorate. The bird said, "Don't worry, I will take you across in a snap of my fingers." With that, she began to fly at great speed. They reached the seashore. As soon as the three of them got off the king's back, the princess felt pain and gave birth to a beautiful boy. But darkness fell before the eyes of all three. The seashore was quite far from the kingdom. There was sand all around. It was the hot afternoon sun, and no one was visible for miles. The wind was blowing slowly. The moneylender's son sat with his hand on his head. The bird said, "Master, what will happen if we sit like this? It will become dark in no time. The sand will become cold. You go and get some dry wood from the forest. I will go get some fire. We will light a fire here and warm the mother and sons. Once they both get a little better, I will take everyone home." With that, the bird went to fetch fire. As it flew, it saw a crippled man, a lump of flesh and a limb, sitting under a tree. As soon as the air from the bird's wings touched his body, the wounds on his hands and feet healed. Fingers grew back. The crippled man thought, "If just the air from this bird's wings has brought me so much benefit, then eating its meat will surely help me." Thinking this, he sat there. A little while later, when the bird returned with the fire, the crippled man called out, "Brother, I need to light a bidi. My body is freezing with cold. Please give me some fire." As soon as the bird sat down on one side of the fire, the fool struck it with a stake. The poor bird returned there and died. Then the wicked crippled man gathered pieces of wood, lit a fire, and cut off the bird's wings, legs, and head, cooked its body in the fire, and ate it, and happily went home. Meanwhile, when the moneylender's son reached the forest to collect wood, the childless king of that place had died. The council of ministers of the state filled a golden pot with water in the trunk of the royal elephant and started moving it around. How he was had the elephant would power water from the pot on would be made the king. When the elephant reached the forest while roaming, the moneylender's son came in front of him. As soon as the elephant poured water on his head, the ministers and generals came and caught him and took him away. Seeing all this, the moneylender's son became speechless. He was placed on the throne. Meanwhile, the princess had her eldest son with her, and the younger child was crying. Her eyes became stony as she waited for her husband and the bird to return. As evening approached, the princess said to her eldest son, "You sit here, I will go and wash a few clothes." The son said, "Okay, go." The princess went to wash clothes on the seashore. When a ship stopped on the shore, the pilot looking at the princess and said, "Oh, this woman is more beautiful than a celestial nymph. We will make her the queen of our new king." With that, he and his companions took the princess aboard the ship. The princess began to think, "This evil men have captured me. They will kill me. My children will suffer a lot here." Thinking about all this, the princess fainted. Meanwhile, the little boy began to cry out of hunger. His cries were terrifying to the elder son. Evening approached. The elder son, wondering why his mother had not returned, why his father had not returned, also began to cry, remembering them. Just then, a black cow emerged from the forest. Coming to the little boy, she bent her front legs and placed her other over his mouth. The child, suffering from hunger and thirst, began to suck quickly and drink. Drinking his fill, he calmed down. Tired of crying, he fell into a deep sleep. Then the cow came and stood beside the elder son. The elder son, also suffering from hunger, felt a sense of relief after drinking his fill. The cow stayed with the two children all night, guarding them. That cow belonged to a cowhead. When the cow did not return, the cowhead was worried, thinking that maybe a tiger ate it somewhere in the forest or it got bitten by a snake. He searched for it in everyone's fields and gardens the whole night but could not find any trace of it. In the morning he went towards the forest and started searching. While searching, he found the cow sleeping in a sandy field spread on the seashore. He also found two children sleeping next to it. The cowherd was childless. He thought, "The Shashti Mata did not give me children. I will take these two children and raise them like my sons." Thinking this, he took both children with him and driving the cow home, went and told the milkmaid everything. The milkmaid was overjoyed to find the two children. She pampered them with great love, applying turmeric and sandalwood paste to them, feeding them milk, curd and ghee. Both children grew up with great affection. Meanwhile, After the moneylender's son was crowned king, the ship's captain brought the princess to the king. The king sent a man to the sea to look for the children where he had left them, but they were nowhere to be found. They both wondered where the children might be alive now. They must have been eaten by a tiger or a bear. The parents wept bitterly, remembering their children. The king's two children grew up eating and drinking at the cowherd's house. When their hands started touching each other's heads, they began helping the cowherd. 3 cans of milk were sent daily from the cowherd to the king's house. One day, as the milkman prepared to take the milk to the king, the elder son said, "Father, I will also go with you to the king's house." The cowherd refused. "No, son, you are still young. That is the royal palace. Why would you go there? Who knows what people might say or do? Don't go." Then the son said, "If you ever don't have the convenience and cannot go, if I have seen the king's house in advance, I will deliver the milk in your place." Hearing this, the milkman took him with him like a diamond in a poor man's home. Everyone was astonished to see such a beautiful boy at the milkman's house. The king's heart, for some unknown reason, began to tremble at the sight of the boy. A lust for blood welled up in his heart, and he asked the cowherd, "Cowherd, will this boy of yours work for us?" The cowherd replied, "Your Majesty, he is just a child. He has not even learned to tie a knot in his dhoti. He would not be able to work for you." The king said, "Oh, we will teach him every mistake and get him to work." The milkman wept. The boy said, "Father, why are you so worried? You will come to the palace every day with milk, so you can meet me then." Since the king has asked, why would you refuse him? The cowherd agreed. The milkman brought milk every day. He would ask about his son's well-being. He would go home and inform the milkman about his son's well-being. A few days passed like this. Then one day the little boy said, "Father, I should go with you to the palace today and meet my brother. I am very troubled." The milkmaid said, "When my brother went, the king kept him there. If you also stay there, both of us parents will become blind. Still, if you want to come." At Baba's words, the little son agreed and went with him. When the king saw him, his heart again became troubled. The king and the queen, seeing the two children, wept bitterly, remembering their two sons. When the milkman and his younger son were ready to leave, the king said, "Let the younger son stay here in the palace for a day. He will leave tomorrow." The younger son said, "Father, I will stay with my brother tonight. When you bring the milk tomorrow morning, I will go home with you." The milkman said, "Okay, you stay." The milkman went home. The two brothers stayed in the palace. The queen felt immense love for these two brothers. She herself served them a variety of dishes with her own hands and fed them. All night the king and the queen kept remembering their son, kept crying and could not sleep. The two brothers were staying in the room next to the king and the queen. The younger one said, "Brother, I cannot sleep. Tell me a story." Then the elder brother said, "Should I tell you about happiness, sorrow, or what I have experienced myself?" The younger brother said, "How old are you that you can talk about your experiences?" The elder brother said, "So what if I am a child? If I tell you what I have endured even at this age, it would write a book." The younger brother said, "Okay, then tell me." The elder brother began to speak. "Baba may have raised us, but we are the grandchildren of a king. Baba, mother, and I were crossing seven seas on the back of a kuhukamandal bird when mother felt pain in her womb. As soon as we landed on the seashore, you were born." Baba then went to the forest to get wood for a fire and stayed there. The kuhukamandal bird went to fetch fire and stayed there, and mother went to wash clothes and stayed there. No one returned. Just then a black cow came. We both drank its milk. She looked after us all night. In the morning, the milkman came and took us both and raised us like his own sons. When the king and the queen heard their story, they immediately got off their bed and went to their room, hugged them both, and cried a lot. Then they took them to their room and made them sit on the bed. In the morning, they told this to their ministers, commanders, and all the royal courtiers. When the milkman came, they gave him a lot of wealth. The king and the queen were happy about their two sons. They kept thinking to themselves, "We were all separated and now we are reunited. But what happened to that bird, the kuhukamandal, which had done us so much good? Where did it go? It has not returned." One day the two princes went hunting. On the way, an old hunter with a bunch of feathers stuck on his head was passing by with a glue-coated stick. Seeing the princess, he bowed his head in greeting and some feathers fell from his head. Seeing the feathers, the eldest prince recognized them as the feathers of a kuhukamandal bird. He asked the hunter, "Where did you get these feathers?" The hunter replied, "Sir, there's a banyan tree in the plains. I found these feathers under it. It's been 15 or 20 years since I found them. These feathers bounce as soon as they fall. After I have stuck them on my head, any bird I am at is sure to beak out. These feathers are the reason I earn my living." The prince said, "I will pay you whatever you ask. Give us these feathers as you wish." The hunter said and handed them over. The prince took the feathers and showed them to the king, who said, bring some charnamrit and sprinkle it on them. As soon as the water was sprinkled on the feathers, chanting the names of Shiva and Parvati, the kuhukamandal bird came back to life. After that, everyone lived happily together.